Welcome back, everybody. This week, Matt is out of town, so Dad and I are going to take an opportunity to do a review. We're going to review the first 5 female vocal artists that we've covered in the countdown from 100 to 50 so far. We know that there'll be more coming, so stay tuned for those in the future. However, this week, we're going to have some open dialogue about these 5 artists, so there's a lot of information packed into the episode coming, as well as Dad gets his wish come true. He's going to get to pick about 3 songs per album to listen to. If you've been following, you know that he loves to get his additional songs on. So sit back and enjoy the conversation. Hopefully, you learn a little bit and maybe even pick up a new album to listen to in the weeks to come. Good evening.
Welcome. Nice to be here with you and with your followers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, how's your week been?
I had a good week. Um, um, we got snow, of course, and we've got cold. We've got even more cold. But my week in music, I got to tell you, last Wednesday evening, um, Matt and the family got to celebrate at the Three Rivers Big Band concert. And though she was not introduced as Lady D, the band director just basically called her Delaney Rice. And it was interesting when her name was called, each time that she did a solo, the crowd went absolutely bonkers. And the guy said, "You're getting more recognition, more applause, more loud congratulations than any of the rest of us up here. What's that all about? You must have your family out here."
And it wasn't all family, was it?
No, it was not. It was not. And Brady showed up. He got to spend some
Cool.
time with us, but she had several solo pieces that just they were so good. It brings goosebumps to my to my skin just thinking about listening to the solos and she's basically new to the Three Rivers Big Band, but she filled in for their
Yeah.
otherwise their regular musician, their regular drummer, and she was all over it. And then one other thing, somebody suggested to me to listen to Pentatonix
Yeah.
rendition of the Hallelujah.
Yes.
And so I listened to that. It's just amazing. And then I found a link to the guy. His name is Leonard Cohen. I read the fact that it took him 7 years before he felt like he was qualified or he was honored to do it, but it took him 7 years to get to the place where mentally and in his heart he thought, I can do this. And I would suggest any of our listeners, if they want to hear a really deeply soulful rendition of Hallelujah, I would suggest they
Pentatonics, huh?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
were you going with Leonard Cohen?
Leonard Cohen.
Yeah.
Leonard Cohen. I won't take the time to read the lyrics, but it's
No, but if the listeners haven't heard Leonard sing that, his deep soul voice, beautiful song. I've heard it played kind of everywhere for every reason.
yeah,
Uh, and we talked about it before, Coltrane and Love Supreme, trying to find that secret chord that
hmm,
David wrote.
yeah,
And
yes,
most of our reference for Matt and I goes back to Leonard's song. He
yeah,
talks about that secret chord that
hmm,
David played to please the Lord
yeah,
with the resounding hallelujah.
yeah. One other thing,
Hallelujah.
I don't remember what bowl game it was, but somebody I don't know who it was played a sax for the national anthem and just
Cool.
rocked the place. It was just I did listen to it. I didn't catch his name, and I don't remember what bowl it was, but yeah, that's my week in music. Welcome.
Well, yes, I was going to say I just flipped to the big screen so that we can see all of that putrid, bright red and silver all over the place. And there's even a little painting right behind you now, isn't
Yeah,
there?
it's a light. It's a light. A scarlet and gray. Don't get the colors confused. Scarlet and gray.
Scarlet and gray.
Go
Well,
Bucks. Go Bucks.
well, you just come off the end of that. That was what, Friday night, and here we are on Monday. So
Yes. Yes.
yeah, that big Ohio State blanket to the right side of the screen here, your left side, and you got
Yep.
matching scarlet and gray outfit on. You're looking the part, baby.
Yes.
I guess that I can say, as an individual from the Midwest, OH.
IO.
However, it hurt. It hurt my feelings to have the Longhorns lose on Friday night.
Of
Speaking of bowl
course.
games,
Did you play any blues after the game?
I cried a little bit, but I
Did
did
you?
not. I did not play any blues. I just cried a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty exciting though, because either team, it was the right team to win. It was the right team to go on. And after
Yeah.
watching Ohio State beat the pants off of Oregon, I got to say I knew it was coming. It was going to be
Yeah.
a butt kicking for the
Yeah.
game, and it was. So
Yeah.
yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
My week has been pretty chill here. We've kind of done the same thing as usual. Sarah's been out sick all week long. She's had a flu bug that had come around. So a little bit more activities and things going on here, but it's been kind of normal. You know, my Sunday night jazz ensemble is a pretty big highlight for me because I get to play with Lily and the music, and our lead trumpet player kid is a brilliant. I think he's now 14. Brilliant trumpet player. Just went in to record at Monk's Jazz on Thursday night. I'd offered to go take pictures or any video footage from him, but the kid was going to be too nervous to do that. Had three top line professionals of international repertoire. The young man recorded 5 songs so that he could send them out for auditions for his college. He's a sophomore, already doing audition tapes for the colleges of his choice, and no doubt, brilliant player. So it was cool to see some of that video. You can find it at Joe Morales' Facebook page. But so yeah, my highlight is always learning to play the music, build
So
bikes, and stay busy.
so what is it that you're playing now? Anything in particular?
No, we have our Sunday night ensemble has a list of music, a book of music that we've been going through. We have about 20 songs in our repertoire that we could pull out if need be. However, every Sunday night's different. We just had 3 new students join. And so every Sunday night it might be different, but it's jazz standards is what we're using. Most of what our Sunday night's about is learning to improvise over that particular song. So the jazz head is just kind of a piece to get you to learn to
Hmm.
improvise, and that's what Joe Morales has been teaching all of his students. Is it's about improv. Playing the head is important, learning that music is important, but how do you play over it? How do you play those solos over it? So
Hmm.
that's what I've been learning on the trumpet.
Good.
Been challenging myself that, and it's tough with
Yeah.
my old age and my old memory to try to remember some of that stuff.
What old age? Speaking of old age, do you have a birthday coming up? I guess.
Very soon. Let's see. If I rolled my clock back starting at 30, I'll be 10 coming up here just a couple of weeks.
Wow.
I'll hit the big 50. So yeah,
Wow.
big birthday, and you'll be in town, so we can. You'll be here Tuesday, so we may wait until Tuesday or Wednesday to record our episode when you're here.
Okay. Okay.
Matt, put that in your ear.
Yes.
So, with that being said, speaking of episodes, we want to cover some of these episodes that we've already done. So
Hmm.
tonight, I want to start the slideshow with the quote that we have, and then we'll get the ball rolling. This is a quote that Matt had found for a slideshow for the Horace Silver episode that we did. Go check it out. Jazz is not background music. You must concentrate in order to get the most out of it. You must absorb it. And I think that's really relevant with what we're doing. The more we listen to it, the more we dive into it, the better off we really are in understanding it. So, do you want to start this? We've got 5 unique albums to cover.
Let me jump on the quote, because that is so true. This week I've really had to absorb. I've had to listen to, and in order to appreciate. So there each album, it felt like I needed to go into it deeper and listen at a deeper level and just let the music speak back to me. So absorbing, yes. It's very true about the first artist we're going to talk about is Cecilia McLaren Salvant, and she's number 97 in the book of 100. So I thought, let's listen to one of the tracks. It's called "The Savage in Me," and we would start at like 110.
Okay.
And then we'll follow that up with "Nobody," and start that roughly at 2:35. Okay.
Right. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then after that, I'm going to bring up a little bit of information slide that Matt would have normally done. So with that being said, we're starting the first song in the list of it, but this is song number 3, "Nobody."
Okay.
"Nobody" starting at 2:35.
Yep.
Till I get something from somebody, I will never do nothing for nobody, no time.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
Doesn't that have a good feel to it?
It really does.
Yeah, a good swing and a southern sound almost.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very New Orleans sound.
Yes.
Is what I hear in that. It's got that old time ragtime, old time New Orleans. And the lyrics just crack me up in it. Really paying attention to it. It's just pretty fun to hear that. But it is old. It reminds you of the old school. And even at the very end with that cymbal crash, that reminds you of the 2-minute warning from the light in a record studio when it's recording. The song has to end, so they just go.
Boop. Yep.
So yeah.
What's interesting about this artist, if I remember right, she's young, and the album is a 2013 album, and this is a young voice. What I read was, but she sings with an older tone, an older feel about it. So that's impressive. Impressive.
Yes, I don't have it in my type notes here, but she's an old soul in a new body. That was how somebody worded it. She does have that old soul in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So we want to go to "You Bring Out the Savage in Me."
Savage in Me. And like 110.
At 110. Perfect.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. We're going to listen to "You Bring Out the Savage in Me" starting at 110. Now, this is a little bit different flavor than what we just listened to with "Nobody." So take a listen.
My blood boils with the tropic heat. The rhythm of my heart has a tom-tom beat. You bring out the savage in me. Primitive love cries move my ears with the pressure of 100 million years. You bring out the savage in me. Call it madness or sin. How was I not to know what was creeping within me?
Don't want to stop.
like Tarzan, be my ape. Man, I'm getting so ferocious and I can't escape. You'll find out how wild I can be while you bring the savage in me.
All right. Man,
Yeah.
the vocal range that she displays there, and it's interesting because this is one of the songs that I wanted to listen to as well because of the very unique rhythms to it, but her vocal control and range is just so phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Very good.
You wanted to bring some information out. Do you want me to just go over this little bit
No.
of slideshow information first?
Yeah. Go for it.
So-
I basically covered what I wanted to say with what you said. An old soul and a young body.
Yeah.
So.
Well, as Matt always does, in honor of Matt not being here, the slideshow, I'm going to bring up the information here. She was born in 1989, that is, out of Florida. Her influences listed: Sarah Vaughan, who we're going to talk about, Betty Carter, who we're going to talk about, Billie Holiday and Bessie Smith, Cecile and John Francois Bonnell Paris Quintet. Sorry for all of that. Was her first album in 2010. The big thing that stood out to Matt and I is she was the winner in the awards category of the Thelonious Monk Institution Jazz Competition. Very, very prestigious award. It is now the actual Herbie Hancock Institution Jazz Competition. But the Jazz Album of the Year, Downbeat for Woman Child, was in 2014. She has toured with the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra, and Wynton Marsalis had a quote in somewhere from that Matt pulled: "You get a singer like this once in a generation or two." And I think that's important for Marsalis. That's kind of a big statement right there. This particular album that she won Downbeat Magazine Award for was Woman Child. It was released on Mack Avenue. It was recorded in 2013. She began with classic piano at 5 and went from there. So she's been in music all of her life, and to have the influences like she does, where she's pulling some of that soul and rhythm from. So, yeah, pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
Were you going to play a track? Were you going to play the Woman Child track?
I have a hard time deciding which one that I want.
Okay.
Because I think it's important to have the Woman Child played. But every song on the album, everything on the album is worth listening to. My favorite is the first one, St. Louis Girl. But Woman Child, I think, is important. And so let's play that. I'll play about 30 seconds of it just so we can hear a little bit of the title track for the album. So, Woman Child.
Hesitative step. How can they expect a girl?
And that's like a little teaser right there. I'm gonna leave it at that. You'll have to go and check out for yourself what the rest of that song sounds like, because it's phenomenal. And it has that swing to it that can only be found in great musicianship. And the way in which she handles her vocals in that really is pretty phenomenal.
Let me say this before we move on. That's not the kind of song you want to be in a car driving to a location and listen to. I'll just tell you that Saturday we were on our way to Bern, Indiana, and that came on, and it did not go over well in the car with Mom and I.
Did it not?
No, it was I don't know. It just didn't strike our ears with any pleasure. Uh,
Okay.
Since listening to it, though, I can appreciate it. Yeah, but again, vocals. Where are we with really appreciating vocals in
Yep.
jazz?
Yep.
Yeah. So
And then, I mean, that's kind of where we're at.
yeah,
It's an acquired taste, just like the free jazz is for us.
yeah,
It's acquired.
yeah.
And I think more and more we review this. And for me, this week has been fun going back to review these albums.
I'm
I
sure.
am stuck on who I really do appreciate and don't. But that leads us to the next album.
Yeah.
Because there's some big stuff coming up here, too. Go ahead. And you want to read
Cas-
who we're.
Cassandra Wilson, Blue Light Till Dawn. And I've chosen a couple pieces from that. But maybe you want to start with some of yours.
Well, what I want to say is that this was number 90 on the countdown from 100.
Mhm.
It's Cassandra Wilson, Blue Light Till Dawn. It was on Blue Note record, and it was recorded in 1993. I kind of want to make sure that we push that out there. We were at 97, now we're at 90. So we're moving quickly in the top 50, these female vocalists.
Mhm.
I do have a couple that I want to pick, but which ones do you think you want to go to?
Well, I listened to Children of the Night. I like that. I Can't Stand the Rain was a good one. Now, I re-listened to The Black Crow. We don't have to go there, but there's three. But anyway, Children of the Night and I Can't Stand the Rain.
Okay. So Children of the Night and Can't Stand the Rain. I'm going to bring up Children of the Night right now.
Start roughly at 3 minutes.
So here we go. Children of the Night starting at about 3:03.
Like me needs understanding. Once again, I'll search the darkness of the night all alone. I'll walk each street until I find someone who is just like me, searching for some company. Children of the night.
What a track.
Yeah. I like the background instrumentation to that as well.
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that I think I remember, and I don't have my notes out right here in front of me now, but one of the things about her albums that really hit myself when we listened to this, she chose some real heavy, old school African rhythms in the whole album. Really representing the beats where this all came from, if you will. It was just so cool to listen to the use of the drums, the bongos, so much percussion going on in the background. It really brought out the vibes to me.
Mhm.
Really did. It was
Yeah.
pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Going back to find my original notes on that as we talk about that. The other song, where did you want to start? Can't Stand the Rain at?
That would start at right 3:10.
I can't stand the rain.
Yeah.
It's my window, bringing back sweet memories. Can't stand the rain. It's my window, now that he's not here with me. Oh, empty below, where his head used to lay. I know you've got sweet memories like a window you ain't got
Yes.
What about the guitar in the background?
Such a blues
Yeah,
tune to that.
yeah,
I picture somebody like Malford Mulligan sitting out on the front porch with somebody who's just got their acoustic, just sitting back singing some old school blues right there, and just such soul, such whoever's playing that guitar. And I know that we had that in slideshows in the past.
yeah. Chris Whiteley,
Chris Whiteley,
Whitley,
Okay.
Whitley. Chris Whitley is
just
playing.
tearing it up on that.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
such soul, such blues.
Yeah. Yeah,
Such
yeah.
blues.
Like you, I can see them on the porch. Maybe a rain shower coming,
Ooh.
and he's playing that with the utmost of feel, and then she's bringing the vocals. Like, oh wow,
Yeah.
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 very cool.
The song that I would have wanted to hear, and I'm gonna bring it up here real quick.
Good.
Is Tupelo Honey. The version of Tupelo Honey that she does. I just love the arrangement of this particular song. Blue Light Till Dawn was going to be the other song, but Tupelo Honey for me is going to be where it kind of falls in.
You can't stop us on the road to freedom. You can't stop us, 'cause our eyes can see. Then within sight, men in granite, knights in armor bent on chivalry. God, he's a sweet Tupelo honey. He's an angel of the first degree. Oh.
Just such an amazing and powerful voice coming through on that.
Yeah,
And every time I've listened to this since, I just get more and more excited because it's just a phenomenal album. The album was Blue Light Till Dawn. It did come out on Blue Note Record in 1993. Cassandra Wilson, born in 1955. Influenced by father, who was a jazz musician, and mom was a teacher. Her genre, vocal, jazz, blues, and country. She has spent her career from 93 to 2010 with Blue Note label, and you can find her at CassandraWilson.com. Of course, Matt and I put in here back in the day, the rabbit hole that we found was the other album, New Moon Daughter, phenomenal, and Coming Forth by Day, phenomenal. There was a quote that Matt included this week on that slide. I'm always looking for ways to develop as an artist, especially as a jazz artist, to find different ways of testing my voice. Now, with that being said, she was also part of the Steve Coleman M-Bass group. And you remember we sat at Electric Works, the four of us around a table that day, and talked about Steve Coleman and M-Bass. So there's a connection between Steve and Cassandra Wilson through that M-Bass. And so I just, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that.
good.
Next on our list,
Abby Lincoln, and she is talking about the album cover is Abby is Blue. It's number 85. It came out in 1959. And remind me what label it is.
on Riverside label, recorded in 1959.
Yeah, good.
Before we get into that, I'm just going to read this information slide here that Matt has, or Matt had, because I'm just taking these from the last ones. Originally, he said there was no influences listed or not many mentioned her influence was Billie Holiday. So I did find that. Abbey Lincoln's Affair was her first album in 1957, and she was known for the jazz genre. Abbey was with us from 1930 to 2010, sorry. And Matt included a quote, "I am the first instrument. I am the voice. I do not imitate other instruments. Other instruments imitate me."
Wow.
That was Abbey Lincoln.
Wow.
And there's a cool timeline from PBS that Matt put on here, www.pbs.org, WNET, American Masters, Abbey Lincoln. So you can catch some of that stuff right there on the screen here. But I wanted to make sure to put that in there. There's another bit coming here in just a little bit. I've got some pictures and some other things from Abbey, as well as another quote. But I want to get into the songs and what your thoughts were on this particular album. So
I am very, very high on this album. The whole thing. Probably, we can go into this later, but if I were to choose the number one out of these five, or count them 1 through 5, I would give this a number one. This is an album that I would rate above the other 4. Okay. And a lot of it is the lyricism and the music, but her, not only her voice, but the message that she has behind it. Okay. And so the one piece that I would suggest would be Afro Blue, but especially Let Up. I don't know if you had thought about either of those two, but
what spoke to you about Let Up?
I went online and I've got the lyrics and I read the lyrics.
Do you want to read those?
I do, if I may.
Please.
Okay. She repeats, let up, let up, let up. When will trouble let up? This heartache is dragging me down. Is this where I'm bound? Hung up, hung up, hung up. Confused, I'm all hung up. Frustrations keep bringing me down, sending me around. Ease up. It's almost please. It's a plead, but yet it's a call. Ease up, ease up. When will this trouble ease up? How much can a body abide? Who's on my side? Fed up, fed up, fed up, fed up. I'm sure enough fed up with all my troubles and woes. Nobody knows. And then she says, fed up, nobody knows. Ease up, hung up, nobody knows. Let up, nobody knows, nobody knows, nobody knows. It's almost like the old spirituals that were sung in the slavery South. It rings of that. It rings of the old spiritual. That's what I found in this, especially this piece, and basically the whole album. Mm-hmm.
So with that, I want to play this clip of Let Up.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to start that at about 30 seconds and move on for, well, till we start to tear up. Level good?
Let up. This heartache is dragging me down. Is where I'm bound. frustration.
Yeah, I'll play the whole song. I got to stop it there because I would just keep going.
I know. That's the way you feel when you start listening to it. It gives me the sweetness of not only of her voice, but the sweetness of her message. Like swing low, sweet chariot. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It just again, it's a piece that can bring goosebumps to you.
Oh, yes.
I mentioned goosebumps to somebody years ago, and they said it's more like God bumps.
God bumps. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah. So
Then Afro Blue. You had mentioned that. So
yeah,
I'm going to pop that in at, what'd you say, about 30 seconds or so? Anywhere?
from the beginning.
Well,
Yeah,
let's do that. Let's just rock that in.
Dream of a land my soul is from. I hear a hand stroke on a drum. Shades of delight, cocoa hue, rich as the night, Afro blue. Elegant boy, beautiful girl, dancing for joy, delicate whirl, shades of delight, cocoa hue, rich as the night.
Just beautiful voice.
yeah. And with the trumpet or sax, what it is, it's like an intro,
Boop, boop,
like
boop,
an
boop,
invitation.
boop, 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 boop.
An invitation. Come and join,
Mm.
come and participate with this.
I
Yeah,
love that because that's what that is, isn't it?
yeah.
Come out and enjoy this song.
In the church, you might call it a call to worship.
Call to worship, call
Yeah.
to act, or call to action.
Call
in
to
the
action.
Civil rights.
Yes, yeah,
What an album.
Yeah.
The song I wanted to hear from that, and I'm just going to play a short 30 seconds of it, is a Duke Ellington tune. Afro Blue, by the way, was Mongo Santa Maria, and the lyrics were by Oscar Brown. Brother, Where Are You? Another great song on that. All of the songs on this album were just really killer. But the Duke Ellington tune, I heard somebody talk about this just a couple of months ago, Come Sunday.
Lord, dear Lord of love, God Almighty, God above, please look down and see my people.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lordy Lord,
yeah,
come down and see my people.
yeah,
What a tune. This album to me, I don't think I did it justice the week we rated it. I would have definitely changed my rating. But it is what it is. So I want to pop some of that information up real quick about Abby because I did have it. I did that at the beginning. I wanted to pop this quote up that we had from Abby, and this talks about Let Up a little bit. So the quote was this, and this was from 1990-ish. Back then in the 50s, people in the business told you what to wear, what to sing, how to stand, what expression to use on your face, and when to use it, when to laugh, when to speak, and not to speak. It was like being a prostitute. You were paid for and owned. Whoa.
yeah,
What? And I remember Matt reading that quote, just thinking, so true, so true, so true. And so I don't understand her struggles at the time, but there's enough books that you can read to begin to understand how difficult it would have been in the 50s.
yeah. We don't have time to listen to Here Come the Clowns,
Another great one, though.
but but I think I'd suggest our listeners to go deeper and to listen to that, and or send in the clowns, I guess is what it is. No, I'm sorry, Laugh Clown Laugh.
Laugh Clown Laugh. Yeah, I'm
Laugh
sorry.
Clown Laugh.
Yep.
I'd suggest our listeners take a listen to that.
Just go listen to the album.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And right now that's on the screen. That's the album cover. Abby is Blue, Abby Lincoln.
Yeah.
That was episode number 15 for us. So we were new into this conversation. Album number 85 in the countdown from 100 to 1. So yeah, go check it out. Next on the list.
Yes, Miss Sarah Vaughan. And it's number 80. And it's Sassy Sings the Tivoli. Tivoli. Yes. And what's Tivoli?
It is it's basically where Walt Disney got inspiration for Disneyland. It was a glass, I think originally when we read through this, it was a World's Fair location.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know much about it? Did you read into it?
No, I just read that it's from Copenhagen, and the picture, of course, it's on the album cover.
Yes.
Beautiful place, and I can't imagine being invited to sing there. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Being invited to sing there when she did, is even a bigger deal. I'm not gonna really talk much about it, but I would encourage people to go look at the Tivoli. Think about the history of the Tivoli, and that she's standing there recording Sassy Swings the Tivoli. So yeah, this album too. If you said if I had to rank them 1 to 5, which ones I enjoyed the most, Sarah's right up there with me. I really loved this stuff, Sassy Swinging. And we say Sassy Swings, that was one of her nicknames. Mm-hmm. She had many other nicknames as well, but that was one that really stuck. Mm-hmm. Sassy, born in 1924, passed away in 1990, influenced by Bessie Smith, Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong, and Lena Horne. 48 studio albums, 35 compilations, 10 live albums. Traditional pop and vocal jazz were her genres. 9 Grammy nominations, 2 Grammy wins. 1985, inducted onto the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and she received the George and Ira Gershwin Award for Lifetime Achievement. You'll also notice at the bottom right-hand corner 6 Degrees of Miles. So we had began during this album, which was number 80 on the countdown, to look at how many people were connected to Miles Davis through this 100 albums. Sarah Vaughan recorded with Dizzy, and then Dizzy and Miles. So, yeah. What'd you think about the album?
Yeah, loved it. Loved it most all the way through. I picked out a couple pieces that I liked, especially, and if we have time, we could play 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
But likely you have 1 or 2 that you'd want to play.
I want to know which ones.
Okay. Misty comes out pretty strong. Sassy Blues. And Sometimes I'm Happy. And maybe we start with Sometimes I'm Happy right from the beginning, and you'll get a flavor for her scat.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's bring that up. All right, so let's start with Sometimes I'm Happy, which is the 5th track on the album. We'll start right at the beginning.
Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm blue. My disposition, baby, just depends on you. I never mind the rain in the skies as long as there is sun in your eyes. Sometimes I love you, sometimes I hate you. But when I hate you, baby, it's because I love you, darling. That's how I am. What can I do? I'm happy when I'm with you. Shabba-dabba-doo-doo-doo-doo. Shabba-dabba-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo
That's so
Oh man, that is so fun.
Imagine singing that in front of a large crowd in that venue.
It's I know, and such a large venue, and it was 2 hours of mesmerizing music for them. It was
Yes.
mesmerizing the way she just had the crowd eating out of the palm of her hands.
Scooby Dooby Doo Ba.
Yeah, the scat part of it.
Yes.
We're going to hear a little bit of that coming up in the next artist, but yeah, I mean,
Scooby
come
Dooby
on.
How does she do it, man? It's just so incredible.
It's phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
phenomenal. And you wanted to hear another song.
Well, yes. Either Sassy Blues or Miss. I think you talked about Misty, right?
Let's do Misty.
Yeah, let's
Did you
do
have
Misty.
a time you wanted to start at?
At Misty,
Yeah.
310.
In love.
You can see that you're putting me on. And it's just what I want you to do. Don't you notice how hopelessly I'm lost? That's why I'm following you.
She laughs.
On my own.
You can't see it, but I have a picture of her up on screen right now.
Really?
Quote underneath it, when I sing, trouble can sit right on my shoulder and I don't even notice.
Wow.
And I think that is so true when you hear her sing. And such a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful woman. I thought it was important to pop that up on the screen while we were listening to the song. You can imagine for 2 hours sitting there engaged in that type of music and just the
Yeah, pretty cool.
I would sit for 2 hours and listen to it.
Yes. Yeah.
As we do with most of the albums, I will sit anyways and listen to the album, but I find myself being engaged as almost if I'm there. And that's why I want to bring up this particular audio from the album. It was Tenderly.
Oh.
And there's a moment when she brings in...
Embrace the breeze.
She's talking about the breeze.
Breeze. Breeze. Thank you. Tenderly.
I can imagine just sitting there, and it's probably getting warm. There's probably no breeze going on in the evening. You're sitting in this beautiful venue, and you're thinking, man, if she's up there sweating it up, and we're down here sweating it up, and she just, it's like, here, why don't you eat out of the palm of my hand while we continue this?
Yeah.
And you will. Okay, sure. I guess I need to stop that. It's still playing in the background. My bad. I would keep listening.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was number 80 on the countdown. Sarah Vaughan, Sassy Swings to Tivoli.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the 5th album.
Miss Betty Carter, and it's the album is Audience with Betty Carter. It was produced in 1979, and remind me who produced that.
Record label was Bet Carr.
Ah, yes, yeah.
Bet Carr label.
Yep.
1979.
Yep.
She was born in May 16th, 1929. Her birth name, Lily Mae Jones. She became Betty Carter to the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
This album to me took quite a turn because the first song is like a 20-minute tune. And I remember when we first went through this, it was tough for me. And it was tough for a couple of reasons. I know several people who had toured and played with Betty Carter. So to think that I was going to have to rate this and talk about it, and knowing that I was really not a big fan of it at the time. But as we've gotten more particular, as I've gotten more particular in the jazz vocals, I began to understand the importance of what she has brought to the table. It's interesting, Matt's journey into jazz. The things you don't know are the things you don't know. And once you begin to develop your knowledge base on it, it really changes the way in which I view this album. Any song that's 20 minutes long just wears on me. But understanding the scat, where it came from, how many people were influenced by Betty Carter, how many jazz vocalists, even in her time, were influenced by her work, and still today being influenced by her works, is pretty phenomenal. So, yeah, it's tough not to fall in love with an album like this after a while. What were your thoughts on Betty Carter?
Well, I did have some bit of difficulty listening to the whole album. There were a couple pieces, obviously, that I picked out that I like, but overall, we're not into rating yet, but I didn't rate it real high, but I didn't rate it extremely low.
Okay.
So, but the trolley song,
Yeah.
I guess, and I'll Buy You a Star.
Okay.
Those two pieces, plus the Caribbean Sun, but let's do one or two of those.
Yeah, we'll do the trolley song.
Yeah.
Was there a place you wanted to start that song?
Yep. At 1 minute.
1 minute it is.
Yep.
We're going to start the trolley song, which I don't have the number in front of me on which listing it was, but here we go. Trolley song at 1 minute. Volume good.
With my heartbeat when he smiled, I could feel the car shake. He tipped his hat, took a seat, and then he said, "Can I step on your feet, honey?" He asked my name, I held my breath. I couldn't speak because he scared me to death. Buzz, 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 with the buzz. Plop, plop, plop.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Her voice is an instrument
Mm-hmm.
of the finest degree.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I began to realize.
Yeah.
Just phenomenal.
You're right. You're right. Did you have a particular track that you wanted to play?
I do, but I'll end it with that. You wanted to hear one other, which was "I'll Buy You a Star."
Yes, and that you can begin that at 105.
105. I'll Buy You a Star. Here we go.
Until I find the moon. I'll buy you a summer, baby. I won't rest, and I won't rest, and I won't rest until I buy, until I buy, until I
Now I'll buy you a star and not rest until I buy you the moon.
Buy You the Moon.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Phenomenal.
yeah. It's a powerful piece, powerful message. I'm going to keep working for you or with you. I'll buy you a star because I care that much, but I'm not going to rest until I buy you the
The
moon.
Moon.
Yeah, yeah,
What a voice.
yeah. Oh my, yeah.
What a voice. I'm going to drop in this slideshow. Betty Carter, we had her for 69 years. She was born in 29, passed away in 98. Influences, I remember Matt and I talking about this. She was singing at age 16. Piano study at Detroit Conservatory. Her influences were Dizzy Gillespie, Ray Charles, Lionel Hampton. She had 23 studio albums, 4 compilations, jazz and post-bop. She was known for her improv technique called scat. She was born in Flint, Michigan. She created Betcar record label in 1969, and she was a musical artist on SNL the first season in 1976. But Then She's Betty Carter is a documentary that was done in 1980, and in 1988, she won a Grammy for Look What I Got. She performed directly with Miles Davis, so there is no need for 6 degrees of Mile. That's first degree right there. I remember in the conversation with Matt, part of the reason for the Betcar label and part of the reason why she wasn't a bigger named artist is that there was a time when her voice wasn't just being picked up by the record labels. Not sure if she could make it swing. She started her own label, comes out, and then the world has gone crazy ever since for Betty Carter. It's a really interesting story, really wonderful story, and I sure am glad that all of these artists have had an opportunity to share their voice with us on these albums, and they have shook the world, each and every one of these 5 vocal artists. With that being said, I want to wrap up the song that I wanted to hear, and that was a few of My Favorite Things, her rendition of that. So I'm going to start that at 20 seconds, and this is My Favorite Things, live at Bradshaw's Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, 1979, starting at 20 seconds.
Raindrops and roses and whiskers on kittens, red copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudel, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzels with noodle, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings.
I'm going to stop it early because I think y'all just need to go check it out for yourselves. What she was capable of doing with her voice has been, will forever be, just one of the most beautiful instruments that a person could ever listen to. John Coltrane did My Favorite Things. And I think about that song when I listen to this particular one. The impact that had on me, the impact that song had on the world. What a cool song for Betty Carter to have in 1979. With the few minutes that we have remaining in this, just a quick recap. Number 97, Cecile McLaurin Salvant. Number 90 was Cassandra Wilson, Blue Light Till Dawn. Abby Lincoln, Abby is Blue. That was number 85. Number 80 on the countdown was Sarah Vaughan, Sassy Swings the Tivoli. And then at number 65, Betty Carter, The Audience with Betty Carter. Now 65 is getting close to the middle of the magazine, so it's stepped up its game quite a bit, and I think that I would agree with that. You had mentioned something earlier. If you had to rate these 1 to 5, your favorite to least favorite, I don't want to talk about why. That's your own personal opinion, but What would you have rated them at?
I would put Abby Lincoln for my first choice. And then I'd put Cassandra Wilson for my second. Sarah Vaughan at third. Betty Carter at fourth, and Cecile
Cecile.
at number 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I can dig with that.
Yeah.
You made me go to that idea, but I find it interesting that I would have changed things a little bit differently.
Sure.
I would have put Abby at number 1 too. I loved everything about it. Number 2, I had Betty Carter. Number 3, I dropped in Sarah. Number 4, I had Cassandra, and 5, Cecile.
Okay.
And I think that if I'm going to change that, I would have said I'd have reversed those. Cassandra would have been my least. It's hard to say least favorite because I have to pick out the best 5. So
yes.
What I found more important is that I appreciated the older stuff more than I appreciated the newer stuff, but it hasn't grown on me yet.
Yeah.
And I've had more time to listen to Abby than I did Betty Carter. I had more time to listen to Cassandra or Cecile, but I've never really gone back to, well, I have gone back to both of those albums quite a bit, but maybe not as much as I have some of the trumpet players. I'm not going to ask you for your rating, particularly today, but what I do want is sometime between now and next week, rate those albums.
Okay.
Give us your 1 to 10 score. And for everybody watching, you can find us on our website at www.theunconnoisseur.com. We will have Dad's scores from these albums on our rating pages, and you can see what Matt and I both rated these particular albums as we went through them. What we didn't know, and we're definitely growing each week. So we'll put Dad's scores on there, as well as his scores of the albums that he's been on with us, so you can find us there and check that out. What are your final thoughts or info?
Well, I just really appreciate this opportunity. Though it was kind of stretching for me to listen to 5 different artists this week, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the journey. And though it was a stretch and somewhat stressful,
oh yeah,
to try to fill in where Matt normally is, and I'm just a wannabe kind of hanger on, but here I am. I don't consider myself a co-host, but it's been a privilege for me to be here with you tonight.
How many episodes do you have to be on before you just call yourself a co-host and get over it?
Probably another 15 or 20.
We'll be done by then. You ding dong. You are a Buckeye. I might argue that you were already on there, but
well, let me ask you, what's a Hoosier? Because that's
who's your daddy?
You were born in Hoosierville.
I was, but I'm a Texan now.
Exactly.
Words, baby. Yes. Words. That's awesome. Well, you know that Matt always says this, so in honor of Matt, I'm gonna put it up on screen. Whatever you do it to jazz. Yeah. And I think this week we've had an opportunity to do it to a whole lot of jazz, trying to get 5 albums through your ears to have some kind of dialogue about. And for all of y'all that have watched this and witnessed this opportunity, thanks for being my co-host tonight. Thanks for sitting in. And go back and watch the episodes where we did dialogue, Matt and I, on these particular albums, or go listen for yourself and look for yourself. Dig up your information and learn something new about vocal artists. Don't forget that although Matt is on vacation and we are taking a 2-week or a week-long pause from our normal schedule, next week, Dad and Matt and I will sit down and talk about number 48 on the countdown, Pharoah Sanders. The album is Karma, recorded in 1969 on the Impulse label. So we are still going to be back on time with Matt when he gets done with his cruise from that. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. Now, As always, Matt would say, tell them where you could find us, Drew, and I can hear that in the back of the head. Find us on the web, theunconnoisseur.com. Email us, theunconnoisseur@gmail.com. And hopefully Matt's banging out some TikToks while he's out on the cruise doing I think that's down towards the Bermuda Triangle. And then, of course, you're on YouTube and you're always listening to us on the podcasts. So thanks for joining us on that. Dad, it sure was good just dialoguing with you as always.
Thank you.
Somebody mentioned in a post or a comment the other day, what an opportunity it is to have with your father to just sit in dialogue. We're talking about jazz today, but we talk a lot about life anyway. So it's a real honor.
Thank you. I look forward to next week to listen to Pharaoh.
Have you put it in yet?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way,
I look forward to your dialogue about purple and blue. Stay tuned for next week's episode to see what that's all about.
Good night, y'all.
Adios, everybody.